Okay, so what we're going to do now, because you should have completed value within a majority of your still life, we are going to pick one object within our still life to leave blank for right now, because we are going to be adding a pop of color in here in a fun, interesting way. Before we add our pop of color, though, I want to just go over a few rules with our X-ACTO knife or a razor blade, okay? Obviously, razor blades are very sharp. If you don't have one of these at home, you can always use a scissor. It's really up to you what you feel comfortable with. But I do want to just share a little bit about some safety measures that you should be taking when using a razor blade. Okay? One, you should always get permission to use a razor blade either from your teacher or your parents. Also, you never want to play with these tools. They are very, very sharp. So make sure that you always keep the blade side facing down. Okay, you never want to point it at anyone or anything like that. These blades that I have in my classroom cannot leave the classroom. They are considered a weapon if they do leave my room, so please make sure you respect that. Check to make sure that the blade is tight and secure. So as you can see here, there is a spot where you can actually start to twist this off and the blade will come out. So it is important to make sure that this part right here is really twisted tightly and the blade can't move, because you want to make sure that it is nice and secure while you are about to cut. Another thing that you should always remember is that if you are not using your blade or you're walking around with your blade, you should always keep it capped, okay? There is a cap here on it, and it's important to keep that on just so that no one gets hurt accidentally. Another thing to remember, you always should protect your table. So as you can see, I have this board here. You can use any sort of like rubber mat. You know, just make sure that you protect the table that you're working on, because you could potentially cut the table, and we definitely don't want that happening. Always make sure that you are cutting away from you and you're holding it like a pencil, okay? So anytime we are cutting, you don't want to cut towards you. My body is right here, okay? I don't want to cut towards me, because if I do and I accidentally slip, I could really hurt myself or someone else. And you want to hold it like a pencil, okay? Don't hold it like this. This is not a secure way to hold a X-ACTO knife, so make sure that you're holding it like a pencil. So what you should have done, as I said, you should have created value with a majority of the items in your still life. You are to choose one item in your still life to leave blank and not add darks and lights to as of right now. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to take your X-ACTO knife. Now I am going to kind of twist this around so that I have it at a better angle. And I'm making sure that I know exactly where I'm starting to cut this out. So I'm going to cut out this entire strawberry. So once again, I'm just holding the piece of paper, and I'm also just pulling away from me. And I'm going to go really slow and controlled, because if I mess up here, I'm obviously going to have a problem with my overall look of my artwork. So I'm going slow. Okay. I turn my paper around a lot of the time, and remember, I'm always making sure that I am cutting away from me. Just gonna continue to do this. Oops. Oops, that's a little tight spot, so I might have to use a scissor for that. Okay, so I'm just following my lines as best as I can. If you make a tiny mistake, it's not a big deal. You just want to make sure that you do go nice and slow, though, especially when you're using this knife. All right, and then one more line here. All right, so after I'm done cutting that out, I should be able to just pop it right out. Okay, nice and slowly. I may have to go over a few parts but our next video will show you exactly how to add value to this blank spot that you will currently have after you pop out your piece that you chose to leave blank. All right, so as I said, this is popping out. I'm going to slowly pop this out off the video, but I'm looking forward to seeing your ideas for this project.